community. My name is Janelle and I am a registered social worker who provides trauma-informed therapy, and I make videos on all things trauma-related and mental health related. So for this video, I want to talk a little bit about our inner critic and self-criticism. How many of you treat yourself kindly? How many of you degrade yourself? And how many of you lose patience with yourself for making a mistake? If you answered yes to any of the above, you are probably self-critical. Many people engage in self-criticism and they don't even realize it. We've become our own bully and we end up tearing ourselves down. In the words of Dr. Kristen Neff, with self-criticism, we are both the attacker and the attacked. So what does it mean to be self-critical? According to the Cambridge Dictionary definition, someone who is self-critical often criticizes themselves, especially their own behavior, their work, and their performance. Some examples that we often hear is, I'm stupid, I should have known better, what's wrong with me, I'm not worthy, I'm a failure, I'll never get the job, and I'm such a loser. If you're still not convinced, ask yourself this. Would you speak to a friend this way? Would you tell your friend that they're stupid or they're a loser? Think about it. So let's say if your friend told you that they messed up on a job interview, how would you respond? Would you call them a loser? Would you say that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you, what's wrong with you? Probably not. You would probably tell them it's okay. You'd probably say, you know what, I'm so sorry that you didn't get the job. I know this is something that you really wanted. And you know what, I think you're gonna do better on the next interview. So now that we know what self-criticism sounds like, the next question is, why are we so critical to ourselves? If you look at it from a scientific perspective, self-criticism is associated with the nervous system. So what that means is our brain detects a threat and our fight, flight, freeze system tends to kick in. As humans, we tend to react with self-criticism first when something goes wrong. And it doesn't help if we grew up in an environment that was critical, abusive, or even judgmental. Maybe you had an abusive or critical caregiver, or perhaps you were bullied in school by your peers, and you may have felt rejected. So your sense of self is compromised and you tend to internalize the critical voice. You didn't have the opportunity to develop a sense of self. You never really had that emotional and psychological safety. Because of what's happened to us, it's changed how we view ourselves, and it's also changed how we view the world around us and how we think people perceive us. Here are 5 tips that can help you manage your inner critic. Tip number 1, you want to be able to gain self-awareness by understanding your patterns of behavior. If you're not aware of your inner critic, how are you going to change your behavior? So you can start by keeping a journal of your thoughts, your feelings, and behavior. And you want to be able to review the journal at the end of the week and notice if there's any patterns of behavior that tends to stand out to you. You can also ask someone that you trust to observe when you're being critical of yourself. When you become aware, you can make necessary changes. Number 2, understand the origins of the inner critic, meaning whose voices are you hearing? Are you hearing your mom, your dad, peers, social media, siblings? Remember, you were born a blank slate in this world, and before you can develop a sense of self, your environment played a role in how you view yourself. So I would talk to a therapist who can help you navigate this space. It can be more challenging than we think, especially if our memory from the past isn't clear, or if we haven't come to terms with the impact that our past has on us. Separating yourself from the critical voice and challenging those thoughts will help you with the next step. Number 3, you want to be able to challenge and change the narrative. So when we understand that our environment growing up played a role in our negative self-perception, we can start to challenge the narrative. Once we can challenge the narrative, we create separation between what we were taught to believe, which is the negative critic, and what is actually true, which is the reality of who we are outside of all the noise. Number 4, self-compassion. When we engage in self-compassion, we are deactivating the threat defense system, and we are activating the care system. 3 components of self-compassion are kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-compassion helps us move through the emotion without getting stuck. And number 5, this is a journey and not a sprint. If you've placed a certain time frame on when you expect to see changes, forget about it. You'll just end up treating this process like a checklist as opposed to being present during the experience. I hope these tips help. If you want to learn more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and comment below so we can get a positive community happening, and let me know what other videos you want to see next. Bye for now.